Hi, I'm Heaven,
I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Connor.
I'm Seth.
and we're here to talk about Light City Chronicles. So, first day of class, Ellerton comes up to us, our professor, and he goes, "Hey guys, just so you know, we're doing this massive interactive comic this semester, and it has to be completely finished. It has to have all assets that you made, and it's a really big deal, okay?" But he says, "Oh yeah, but here in 2-3 weeks, we'll assign you your topics." So 4 weeks later, he comes up to my group specifically, and he says, "Hey guys, just so you know, you guys are going to be doing the quantum theory of light."
Yeah, so on our first group meeting, we were all kind of really stressed out about how the heck we were going to make this giant interactive comic project. Whether that was doing all the art stuff, putting some interactivity into it, having a solid idea behind it. So I proposed the idea of making an old school superhero comic book. Because when I think comics, that's what I think about. So we decided to, and ended up going with that. And then melding the idea of how light works into that somehow.
So each week we did a new scrum. So at the beginning of the week, usually on Mondays, we would all get together and we would work out what we've already been doing, look at everyone else's work, and then we would talk about what else needs to be done.
And why we actually chose to do the Scrum process was because it's a very industry standard way of breaking down big projects that a client would bring into a group. So we were really stressed out about how big the project was at first. So we did Scrum just to start breaking that process down and then dividing it up equally. So instead of worrying about, hey, how are we going to do this massive project this week? We just worry about one specific thing in that project and then go the next week and then meet up and then talk about it and then see if anyone had any issues and then assign new things just every week, just to keep getting that, keep trying to break the project down as much as we could.
We would have small sprints that would build up into one large project.
For the comic itself, we also had to plan out for it to be mobile accessible, so it would actually work on a phone rather than just using a mouse and on a computer. So for the things that I primarily did during this project, alongside working on the panels by mainly doing some backgrounds and coloring for them, my main assigned tasks were to create the scene changes, then I did pixel art for our game, and lastly I'm working on the camera transitions.
And then my main contributions to the comic were obviously panel art. I did the cover page, I did the radio tuner, and then I was the group leader, and I made sure to coordinate all of our meeting times and have a place for us to meet.
My main contribution individually was the animation at the end of the comic, which was a requirement, which was about 30 seconds of a group attack animation that would be kind of a final send-off that would be in one of the panels on the last page.
Okay, and then for my major contributions, I did a lot of the prototyping for how stuff was going to be set up actually in Unity and how we wanted everything to work, because I really like the coding part of Unity. So I did all the stuff for the mini game at the very end with Lightman, except for all of the assets. And then, so for the main comic, I set up how we are doing all of the transitions and zoom in, zoom out with all the camera, and having toggle buttons for each button, and then the panels, and also setting up the main scene and aesthetic, having to be dark with the flashlight above it.
We worked together pretty well as a group, and we were pretty open with each other about things that were going on, and we were very good at communicating. If we weren't in a meeting together, physically, we were still talking to each other over Discord and making sure that everything was updated as soon as it was posted. And we actually didn't really argue or disagree that much about anything that we were working on.
our motto in GIM is to get stuff done, and we definitely carried that throughout the whole project.